The purpose of a bank reconciliation is to confirm that all transactions showing on the bank statement for a bank account have been entered into the software. Infusion looks at the imported bank transactions to find matches or suggestions to existing transactions already in Infusion. The software learns about the bank account's regular transactions, making reconciling more efficient. For transactions it does not recognize, suggestions are made based on your customer, supplier, and general ledger records. Options are provided for how transactions are to be reconciled, either at the end of the row or within a transaction. A match is shown if the transaction can be exactly paired to a record or transaction already processed in Infusion. For a match, the date, account, and amount must be the same. Reconcile is offered when there is a match to an existing Infusion transaction. Post and Reconcile is offered when there is no corresponding transaction in Infusion, but some details match. Infusion will allocate this payment to the oldest outstanding transactions. If there are no outstanding transactions, as in this case, the payment will be left as unallocated. Both options reconcile immediately, with no further action required. Matches can be overridden, using the X to remove them. The match will remain as a suggestion. Suggestions are offered when there are multiple options that have some components that match the transaction. Open to view these. Matching details are highlighted in yellow. Additionally, information icons provide more detail about a match. Use the reconciliation buttons as appropriate to reconcile. Or select a suggestion to have it display as the match. It is important to note that these selected suggestions do not save when moving away from the Import tab, and it is recommended to reconcile before leaving. Transactions reconciled against matches and suggestions are remembered, and future imports recognize the previous pairing. As more reconciliations and matches are processed, the software will display more matches and suggestions, speeding up the reconciliation process. The drop-down arrow beside Post and Reconcile buttons lets you open the proposed transaction. If required, edits can be made to the transaction, including adding notes, adjusting payment allocations, and coding for cashbook transactions. Select Post and Reconcile to complete and return to the bank import. Options with a plus create a new transaction in Infusion, instead of using a suggestion. The default is either a customer or supplier payment. The newly created transaction opens, with bank details already populated. Enter required details. The transaction is then completed as usual, relevant to the transaction type. Select Post and Reconcile to return to the bank import. The drop-down provides options to create other transaction types, including refunds, cashbook entries, and funds transfers. Transactions can be reconciled in bulk. The Reconcile button, above the import list, shows a count of transactions ready to reconcile. These are transactions that show on the import screen currently, and does not include transactions that are yet to display. Select to reconcile in bulk. If Infusion does not find any relevant records or transactions to match to, no suggestions are offered. Select the transaction to allow searching for any potential matches. If found, continue to reconcile as usual. Alternatively, create an unallocated customer or supplier payment, or cashbook entry, using the reconciliation button. The new transaction opens, with the bank information populated. Select the account, and post and reconcile to complete. The unreconciled balance in the header updates as transactions are reconciled, reducing to 0 once all transactions are processed. When the reconciliation is complete, Infusion recommends that it is closed off. This provides confirmation that the transactions between the bank account and Infusion are all accounted for, and saves the audit details about the close-off, including the user and date and time of the close-off.